everybody, Phil Clark here from Fighteraces. I just wanted to do a quick video run through here of some of the products which are all available through our web shop. You'll be able to find a link to these at the end of the video. These are all products for finishing models in glass cloth and epoxy. Some of you may have seen via Facebook, our own website, that we do a lot of build work for customers here. All of these products are what we use ourselves in the workshop and have been doing for many years now, so we know them inside out. I'll start off with the resin itself. This is what we call L285 skinning resin. It's an aerospace grade resin. Several key properties to this resin, which is why we use it in relation to many others that we've tried over the years that are on the market. First off is the resin's viscosity. This is a very low viscosity resin, thin and watery basically, which means it wets out the glass cloth very easily. There's no need for thinning this resin at all. Some people advocate that. We don't. We found if you do, it can affect the cured properties of the resin. Makes it dry ever so slightly rubbery, which is obviously is not good for the strength, and also makes it harder to rub down because it clogs the paper and just doesn't sand down into a nice fine dust as this resin does. Second property, very low odour. It's not a smelly resin at all, so use in spare bedroom workshops, etc. no problem. There's nothing nasty comes off it at all. Thirdly, pot life. Obviously when we're working on larger models, they do take quite a long time to glass and skin, so we don't want a resin that cures too quickly. The pot life on this resin, once mixed, dependent on the room temperature, is normally sort of 35-40 minutes. Obviously the summer, when it's warmer indoors, that can be speeded up a little bit. Winter, cooler, slowed down a little bit. But once applied to the model, you've still got then 24 hours really before you want to be touching the surface and doing any trimming back, sanding, etc. So very slow cure. You don't have to rush everything at all. Lastly, a lot of epoxy resins, as they cure, they create sort of a waxy bloom to the surface. You can see that, you can feel that on the surface after it's cured. This resin doesn't produce any of that at all. So again, that can cause problems with paint adhesion, primer adhesion later down the finishing process, and also it clogs the paper, it all balls up and just goes a bit horrible really. So there's no bloom, no wax at all with this resin. As you can see here, we do two pack sizes. The 500 grams of resin, 200 grams of catalyst. That's a 2.5 to 1 mix ratio by weight, as it says on the labels. We normally find that's good for about the 80-inch size model. One layer of resin and cloth, followed by a second layer of resin as the flow coat afterwards. And then we do the bigger pack, kilo of resin, and then 400 grams of catalyst. This is the bigger stuff, sort of 100-inch plus size aircraft. Normally enough resin there to do the two coats, one to apply the cloth and one for the flow coat afterwards. Moving on to the cloths, we do two weights of cloth and two sizes. The lighter weight, 25 grams per square metre in a 2 metre and a 5 metre pack. And then secondly, we do a heavier cloth, 48 grams per square metre, again in the 2 and the 5 metre pack. The 25 gram, we'd normally advocate that on smaller models, 60-70 inch models, lighter weight stuff, electric, etc. And then the heavier 48 gram on the bigger, heavier aircrafts, 80 inch plus. We've used this even up to 140, 150 inch models, no issues whatsoever. Weight of finish, you do have to be careful because obviously the resin is the heavier part of the system compared to the glass really. The 25 gram cloth, though the filaments are thinner, the weave is a little bit more open. So it's got more holes in it, and it's those holes you have to fill with something, and that's the resin. So yes, the 25 gram does give you a lighter finish, but if you're sparing with the resin and really careful, if you load the resin on too heavily and it's all glossy and shiny, you've got too much resin, you're adding too much weight. With the 48 gram, slightly thicker filaments, tighter weave, closer together, less holes. But because it's a thicker filament, it does give a slightly tougher, harder surface finish. Bit more ding proof on the larger models. We know we always do more damage getting them in and out of the van and the car and through the door than we often do at the airfield flying them. So certainly on the bigger models, the 48, we would normally go down that route. Just a few little sundries then, some disposable little plastic mixing cups, 60 ml. That's normally about as maximum amount of resin you'd want to mix in any one go. You can crack the resin out, they're flexible afterwards, or just dispose of them, they're not expensive. Little wooden mixing spatulas, again just over £1 for a pack of 25, self-explanatory really. And then lastly, the 3M squeegee. This is a flexible rubber squeegee pad. I'll demonstrate this in the next video of actually how we apply all this to the surface. But these are reusable. You can wipe them down with acetone, cellulose thinners once we've finished. Being slightly flexible, they do conform nicely to the curvature of fuselages and wings. So really useful little product. So that's the basic essence of the system. We're going to set up now and do a quick tutorial video of actually how we go about applying this to the surface of a wing. One or two tips in there as well, some of you might not have seen before. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot.